Hello, friends, and welcome to Think Again. I hope you enjoyed a little tour of the native garden. Yesterday was the summer solstice, marking the very first day of summer. Today is Tracy's birthday. That's why I'm recording early. But I wanted to kind of go with the summer theme for tonight. So what I'd like to do is take you on a little sensory tour. You kind of did that visually with the garden. I'd like to just have you kind of think back to the smells and the tastes and the sounds of summer. Think about the taste of really ice cold, tart, squeezed lemonade. Imagine, if you close your eyes, the smell of your neighbor barbecuing and how much you'd like to get invited to that barbecue. Hear the sound of the music as the car comes wheeling down your street. It's that kind of Doppler effect. You hear the thumping bass line first, and then you hear some great classic rock tune as they go past. It's the smell of popcorn and cotton candy at a county fair. So vivid. It's the sound of children squealing on a carnival ride. It's the smell of lilacs. That'd be kind of late spring, early summer. We had them in an archway in our backyard. It's the taste of fresh wild blueberries that you just picked. You have them in an ice cream bucket, and you're hoping that you'll make it back with enough for a pie before you eat your fill. It's the feel of cold lake water as you plunge yourself in after a hot afternoon. It's the taste of perfect sweet corn. It's that lush smell of suntan lotion freshly applied. It's the sting of that lotion when you forget, and I always forget, and I rub my eye and it just hurts so bad. It's the sound of a basketball, kind of that pinging sound as it's bouncing in the driveway. It's the back and forth chattering that happens at a Little League game. Hey, Betta, swing. It's the sound of the crowd at Wrigley Field on its feet and just pleading for strike three when there's 2 outs and it's the bottom of the ninth and the count is 3-2. It's the 7th inning stretch. Let me hear you now. A 1, a 2, a 3. It's the sound of the planes screaming overhead when it's time for the air and water show. It's the whirring of cicadas. It's the chirping of the crickets late at night. And it's the sound of a train whistle in the middle of the night. It's summer in Lake Bluff, friends. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Let's all get ready to enjoy the gift that this is. We're going to take a few minutes, just think about summer for a little while, and then we'll come back. thing I think about as we take that walk through the native garden and through the garden in front of the church are people. People from our past of the church. I think about Marilyn and Bob Kronberg. You saw that plaque on the bench. I think about the 125th plus one celebration. The absolutely fun time that we had in the courtyard, gathering people to talk about Lake Bluff ecology and the children who planted those native plantings. I think about Miles Payton and the garden that he built in front of the church that I enjoy every day that I walk past. I think about those roses that are there, which were Pat Bruce's favorite things, those knockout roses. I think about Mary Wesselhoff's tree, and I look at the plaque on that other bench, and I remember the Helming sisters. There are so many people who planted real meaning in this place, and a thing like a garden walk can be an invitation to remember. I hope you're beginning a fantastic summer. Some of you have been traveling, I know, to some pretty amazing places. Some of you I see heading down to the beach or heading for the golf course. A few of you I've run into in open lands. What a wonderful thing it is to get to this time where we can finally just lean into summer. That's what I want you to think about as we go away. That the way that meaning's made is that we end up leaning in. And I think we've all had a chance to do that at some point in our lives in summer, where you just lose track of the time and you just get immersed in things. And you wonder later, why is it that I remember that so vividly? I think it's because we gave ourselves a chance to just immerse. I ran into a quote that I like about that. It's called "Don't Just" by Roy Bennett. Don't just learn, experience. Don't just read, absorb. Don't just change, transform. Don't just relate, advocate. Don't just promise, prove. Don't just criticize, encourage. Don't just think, ponder. Don't just take, give. Don't just see, feel. Don't just dream, do. Don't just hear, listen. Don't just talk, act. Don't just tell, show. Don't just exist, live. Really live. I hope we will all live it up together this summer in the courtyard in our time together, in the various ways that we gather, and I hope as a larger community that we'll lean into these summer days and really live it up. I hope that God's grace and God's peace will be with you today and all your days until we meet again. Thanks, friends. Happy summer.